Good evening, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are doing great. So, I want us to prepare the second week of October, and I want us to look onto pairs which I will be watching for. And mostly for this second part of the week, majorly, I will be focusing on the JPY pairs. You can see over here, I have my watch list, and all of these are JPY pairs. And before we get started, I want us to get rid of everything that is over here so that we may have a clean chart and maybe talk about what I will be expecting. I want to be expecting the weekly profile whereby we have the low forming and also the high, the opening and the closing price. So with these, as you can see, we have the JPY USD over here, not USD, GBPJPY. You can see GJ, and GJ I would like to start from the monthly time frame. And from the monthly time frame, what I'm seeing that could draw the market either going higher or lower, we have this previous month's low, or this previous month's low will attract the market going lower, as well as going higher. We have this previous month's high, which I'll have to label there. So since we have this previous month high, which should be labeled previous month's high, PMH, and that's what I would like really to see the market sweep. Then from there, we will be observing what would be happening. So after identifying that is what will attract the market going higher, and the low is really lower, so I don't want to have it there. So we can drop to the weekly time frame, and from the weekly time frame, we can realize that monthly high is also the previous week's high. And if we can observe the market structure over here, what we had is we had this down close candle inside this bullish market. So this to me is my breaker block, because we also created a high, we had a low, the market rallied higher, I took that high, dropped lower, closed below the down close candle. That was a key level. And since it's a breaker, I wanted really, from that, we wanted to see a reaction, which did happen. We tapped into that order block and then price dropped lower. And from this order breaker block, wanted to see these lows being taken, drop lower, formed a bearish engulfing candle, but we didn't concede lower to take this low. So what we did see is price reversed, and as price reversed, we had these fair value gaps being disrespected, and you can see how these heavy candles are forming. We also had a swap of this high. We rejected lower, created a bullish and fair value gap. We tapped into that, we continued higher. So with this structure, we are forming higher highs and showing us that somehow we are expecting bullish prices. And you can see how these bullish candles are printing. They are so heavy. So with these, I usually take my Fibonacci from the lowest low. Let's use from the highest high to the lowest low, so that we may determine where we have our Fib tool. Usually I use the OTE levels. So here are my OTE levels 7962 and 705. These are my OTE levels. So above the 0.5 we have premium, and also below the 0.5 we have the discount. So what I'm expecting is for us to continue, for us to drop to sell, I want to see price deliver above the 0.5, which is premium. And also, since we have this draw on liquidity over here, which is the month, as well as we have this weekly fair value gap over there. So we can have this fair value gap that could also attract the market going higher. And you can see that this fair value gap is overlapping with the OTE levels. Therefore, somehow we will be watching what will be happening over here, so that if prices show our strength, we can target these weekly fair value gap. Also, we are forming a bullish engulfing candle. If you've been watching me, these bullish engulfing candles have been my setup, and you can see over here we have this candle that swept the previous candle's low and closed above the opening price and the closing price of these previous candle. So if I can have my Fib levels for my engulfing candles, we remove the OTE levels and we replace that with the 0.5 level and the 0.75, because we need to divide that range into 4 equal quadrants. So if we are bullish, then we want to see either price reacting off the 0.25 level or also the 0.5 levels. So of the 2.5 or the 0.5 levels, that's what I will be watching to push our prices going higher. So with this, we also have another block over here. So if we drop lower to the daily time frame, what do we have around those levels? So from the high to the low, this was Monday's low. So these are our levels from which we are anticipating the push off of. So what is likely to push the market lower? So from the daily time frame, you can also monitor how we have heavily bullish candles. So we have this bullish candle, a bearish candle that are directed off at the fair value gap. So of these, wanted to see some continuations, but we failed to take this low with this bearish candle. We failed to make new lows, and you can see how these bullish candles were placing higher. Then we had a drop, reacted off that order block. We didn't really form another low. Then immediately the next candle on Friday, we swept the previous candle's low. Then we rallied higher, forming another bullish engulfing candle. So we will be monitoring which levels we will be reacting off of, so that we may push higher. But what I'm expecting to see is, I want to see the weekly profile present itself, whereby we can anticipate maybe on Monday to have a push lower, maybe consolidate on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we have a drop going lower. Then as of Wednesday, late Tuesday, we can have that push higher. Then expecting to see these previous amounts high being taken. So that's what I will be expecting. But if we also drop lower, if we can also drop lower to the 4-hour time frame to see what we have there. So from the 4-hour time frame, what we are having is we are having these. Okay, we are having these fair value gap here, which is overlapping with the 0.25 level. Is it likely that we might see price dropping to these lows? I don't expect, because we've seen these our anchoring low, because we did have the sweep of liquidities, then we displaced higher. So because of this fair value gap, that's what I will be expecting. I want to see Monday maybe consolidate as we drop lower. I don't want to see this high thing taken yet, but consolidation, maybe a dip into this fair value gap, then from which we can possibly expand higher. But if we take that high, which is also a likelihood, we might sweep this previous month's high. Then from there, that wouldn't be the high probability trade. We can expect a continuation higher, but what I'm really expecting for is to see the weekly profile present itself, or a daily profile, where we see Monday consolidate, or maybe Asia and London consolidate, maybe sweep during London, then we continue higher. And these levels, that's where I want to maybe have my trade set. So that's what I'm thinking for GU. Let's see what EU is for us. Okay, about EU, or also EU, let's maybe have everything cleared. And as usual, we start from the monthly time frame. And on the monthly time frame, what could we see that could either attract the market going higher or lower? So from the monthly time frame, we are seeing this low could attract the market going lower. Also, we have these previous month's high. But also, we have a fair value gap in closer proximity. So for EJ, sorry if I said you, I mean EJ, EURJPY. So we have this monthly fair value gap. So we can label that we have monthly value gap, from which I would really maybe want to see what would be happening around this area. So this is what could attract the market going higher, because it's paired with this candle's high, as well as we're in close proximity to the previous month's high. If we drop lower from to the weekly time frame, from the weekly time frame, also the same price action that we'd seen from GJ reciprocating itself, whereby we had a reaction of this fair value gap, we had a reaction of a fair value gap, price created this swing high, then we had a drop lower, creating fair value gaps. If we were to be bearish, wanted to see these lows being taken, but we didn't. We formed a higher low, didn't sweep these candles low. Then you can see we had heavy displacements disrespecting these fair value gaps, price drop lower heavily, but also we failed to take these at a loss. But immediately last week, what we saw is we saw a candle sweep the previous week's low. We closed above the opening and the closing price of the previous candle, forming bullish engulfing candle. Also, what you're noticing is we have the structure supporting bullish prices. We can also see we have bearish fair value being disrespected. What we can see also is we have the nice heavy bullish candles. See the nice displacements going higher. Even though we had this drop lower, we had the next candle violating these and formed a bullish engulfing candle. We also see we had this order block that had already been traded into, but then was disrespected by this candle closing above the main threshold or the midpoint of this order block, as well as if we can use a WFIB tool from the highest high, which is around that level, from this highest high to the lowest low, if we can use fib levels, which are usually get rid of that, the 796.275. If we have that, we are noticing we are below the discount level. For us, if we are bearish, we want to see price deliver to these premium levels, which is above the 0.5, from which you can maybe look for sales. But if we're in discount, we don't want to be selling in discount. But I think everything is supporting bullish prices. And something also I'm noticing is we have these weekly fair value gaps, same against the GJ, what we've seen for GJ, that is overlapping with these OTE levels. So likelihood we might see price delivering to this fair value gap. But before that, we must see these high being taken, as well as we might also expect this fair value gap to be fully filled. But before then, I would like to see price sweep these, then continue higher. Remember also for a weekly profile, what we want to see is we must see a candle possibly open. We can, for any candle, we want to see what we want to see for a weekly candle or for any candle is the opening price, then price creates a low, then price expands higher, assuming this is the candle, price expands higher, creates the high, then price drops lower to close. So this is what we also want, and this is the weekly profile that I want to see. First the opening price, then price creates the low, then rallies higher, creates the high. If you are bullish, then rallies lower to close. So this is what I will be expecting for these weekly profile for these candle. So with that, I have to determine from which levels are we expecting also that weekly profile to be forming. And what I'm observing over here is, get back to that, is we have a bullish engulfing candle. And if we have a bullish engulfing candle, I'm expecting to have some retracements of the 0.5 level or at the 2.5 level. So if I can get rid of the OTE levels and take back the 4 equal parts of this weekly range, is I'm expecting a reaction of the 0.25 level or the 0.5 level. The 0.5 level is overlapping with this order block, which is a good thing, but we need to drop lower to see what else could attract the market going lower, from which we can possibly expect that push going high. From the daily time frame, what I will be watching for from the high, I guess this is the high which we need to be using. This candle's high, this candle's low, because on Monday, then we have on Friday over there. So over here, we have the 5 as 0.25, which is if we invert this 7.5 and then also 0.5. So I'm expecting either we have a reaction of this high or possibly of this level. So I will be watching what will be happening as of Monday. We might also see this flip, but what I'm expecting is maybe a drop going lower, possibly to sweep the Friday's low if it's possible, but also it's forming another bullish engulfing candle. So it will be something I need to be watching. From which levels are we likely to maybe expand going higher? We might also create an immediate rebalance also for a push. So it's a thing that I will be watching. But if we drop further to the 4-hour time frame, what I'm noticing is we have this fair value gap over here. So I will be comparing GJ and EJ to see what will I be trading. So I'm expecting the same price action. Maybe we create that, maybe Monday, this. Okay, what I will want to see is possibly consolidate up as price consolidate, maybe have the manipulation phase. Then from this level later on Wednesday or Thursday, that's when I will maybe be watching for higher prices. But my first target will be this previous month's high. Then from there, we'll be looking what will be happening. So that's what I'm watching. Will we have a reaction of this fair value gap, or is it likely that we might also dip below these lows, tap to the 0.5 level, then react going higher? So it's a matter of what will be transpiring, and also being careful what price action will be generally showing me. So that's what I will be watching for, and possibly if we can have a reaction of this level, why we could see maybe price action push higher, dropping lower, then we push higher, then this is what our prices delivering to these monthly fair value gap. Then we'll see whether we'll have this weekly fair value gap being traded into. So that's what I will be watching for, and I think USD JPY is all the same. USD JPY, I think the price action is all the same. Now the difference is from which levels are we likely to be reacting off of. This was my last week analysis. Maybe we tapped into this weekly immediate rebalance, then we rejected. Let's see. I guess this was my analysis. Same, we have a monthly fair value gap. Monthly fair value gap higher. We have traded into this current one. Weekly time frame engulfing candle. We have the levels from which I want to see some reaction. We also have the weekly immediate rebalance. From the daily time frame, we're also having the bullish engulfing candle of the daily, but we have the weekly 0.5 level below. So depends on what we'll be watching or what price action will be telling us. Could we react off this level, or could we